Hello students, I welcome you all back to this YouTube channel English with Ease. I'm your teacher Shyam Panchal and I'm going to give you this lecture on behalf of Taksh-shila Model Senior Secondary School. So students, now let us move on to our present day topic, that is prepositions. So when I speak the word preposition, I hope that this word is not very unfamiliar with you, right? Because preposition is a topic which we have been studying since grade 4 and 5, I think, right? So the present day topic is preposition. So the first question which arises in our mind is, what is preposition? What is preposition? So let us try to answer this question with the help of the definition that I have written on the board. So our definition says that preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun. What is a preposition? A preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun, right? And next question is, why is it used? So why is preposition used? Preposition is used to show what? In what relation the person or thing denoted by it. The word preposition or preposition always denotes a person or a thing, right? So whatever the person or thing the preposition denotes, it shows in what relation it stands with some other words in the sentence, right? For example, we can simply say that preposition is a word which shows relationship between two words in a sentence, and these two words are what? First, the word which is denoted by it means preposition. First is the word which is denoted by a preposition, second can be any other word. And this other word can either be a noun, it can either be an adjective, it can either be an adverb or a verb, right? So here we'll try to understand this definition with the help of these three examples, right? So it is used to show in what relation the person or thing denoted by it means preposition, stands with regards to some other words. So in order to understand this definition precisely, let us just take a look at the first example. Example number 1 says there is a cow in the field. So here one noun is field, other noun is cow. So there are two nouns, and this preposition in actually shows the relationship between these two words. So there is a noun which is denoted by the preposition in, and this preposition shows relationship of a noun with another noun, that is a cow, right? So here cow and fields are two nouns, and this preposition in is actually going to establish a relationship with them. And this shows what? There is a cow in the field. Where is the cow? The cow is in the field. So this preposition tells the place where the cow is. And where is the cow? The cow is in the field. Hence we can say this preposition in is a preposition which shows place, right? Preposition of place. It can be included in the category of preposition of place, right? Now let us now move on to the next example. The next example we have is, I am talking to him, right? So here to is the preposition and him is the pronoun. I said the definition says that preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun. So here him is a pronoun, right? So now the preposition to denotes the pronoun him, and it shows relationship between him and the verb talking, right? So this is the pronoun which is denoted by the preposition to, and it shows a relation with some other word, and this other word is talking, right? It is written, it shows in what relation the person or thing denoted by it stands with regards to some other words. So some other words here in this sentence, other word is talking, right? So verb and pronoun. This preposition to is actually showing a relationship between pronoun and a verb, right? Now let us move on to the third example. They are fond of eating bananas, right? So here we have the noun fond of eating bananas. Here we have the noun bananas, but the preposition is of, right? Now this preposition of is actually showing a relationship with what? A verb and an adjective. A verb eating and an adjective. This verb eating is actually a gerund, right? It is a gerundial form of verb. Now, let us now understand this third example more precisely with the help of this. Preposition always comes before a noun, pronoun or a verb. Right? In the definition I have written that a preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun only. I have not written that it is always used before a verb, right? But it can be used before a verb. And what happens when it is used or when it is placed before a verb? When a preposition is preceded by a verb, the verb is converted into ing form, which is called gerundial form of verb, right? So the same thing is visible here, right? We can see whenever after the prepositions comes the verb, this verb is actually converted into ing form of the verb. Means this is called gerundial form of the verb, right? So students, here preposition is used before a noun. Noun can be a person, place or thing, right? Then preposition is used before pronouns. Pronouns are, there are three persons: first person INV, second person you, third person he, she, it and they, right? But make it a point, keep this thing in your mind, that is I'm going to tell you now. Pronoun, when a preposition is used before pronouns, that particular pronoun is always put in objective case, right? Which we can see here in this second example, right? So he, him is the objective case of word he. For example, he, his and him. He is the subjective case, his is the possessive case and him is the objective case. So whenever pronouns are used after prepositions, they always are used in objective cases. We cannot write here he or his. Both are incorrect. We will use what? Him only, because the rule says that after pronouns, the after preposition, pronoun is always put in objective case, right? Now we have understood these three things. I have told you, if there is a verb after preposition, it is always converted into ing form of the verb. So here, types of prepositions. Prepositions are of four types. First is simple preposition. So what are simple prepositions? Simple prepositions are composed of single word. For example, on, at, over, upon, in, into, of, for, from, etc. Right? Then there are compound prepositions. What are compound prepositions? Compound prepositions are formed with the combination of two words. Especially one is a preposition, or both are the preposition words, right? For example, with the help of A and B. Now, about, which is a combination of A plus bout. Bout is a noun. Bout means a period of something, right? So it becomes about. Then there is A plus mong, mung. So mung is a word which means mixture, right? So among, this is a preposition. Then there is the combination of B plus a noun, right? So here B plus side, this becomes beside. B plus hind, this becomes behind. Hind means rear part of something, right? So with the help of these two words A and B, and we can get more prepositions. So there are many other words as well, prepositional words as well, which I have not written here. Let me tell you, there is between, there is besides, there is behind, before, then there is after, right? So all these prepositions are categorized as compound prepositions. Then there comes the third type, which is called a complex preposition. What is a complex preposition? A complex preposition is a word which is formed with the combination of a preposition and some other word, mostly a noun, right? Means it is a combination of a preposition and some other word. For example, in addition to. Here, in and to. Both are prepositions, and this is a noun. So this is called a complex preposition. In addition to, with regards to, here with and to, both are prepositions, and this regards is a noun. Similarly, according to, right, then there is in the wake of, because of, lack of, instead of, right, and with reference to, right, in accordance with. So all these kind of complex words is called what? These kind of complex words are called complex prepositions. Then we have the last type of preposition, which is called participle preposition. They are called participle preposition because it is a combination, it is a participle form of verb, and it does the action of a preposition. How does it actually do the action of a preposition? Because it is used before a noun. For example, we have regarding, considering, concerning, right? Sometimes barring as well. So here regarding, regarding is a word which can be used as a preposition. Let me just tell you an example. Uh, regarding regarding the rights, Delhi government is taking very concrete steps, right? Then there is another example, considering the situation, the government has taken many decisions, right? Then there is concerning me, nobody has a very positive opinion, means about me people do not have very positive opinion. So these words as participles come before nouns and do the action of prepositions. So hence we have four types of prepositions, right? Simple, compound, complex, and participle. Students, now we will discuss the position of prepositions. So what is the position of prepositions? As we have already discussed in the definition of preposition, that a preposition is a word which is used before a noun or pronoun, right? Still, the preposition is sometimes used either in the beginning of a sentence or at the end of a sentence, especially after the noun, right, which it denotes. So there are three cases, there are three conditions in which the word preposition is actually used at the end of a sentence or in the beginning of a sentence. So here the first case is in case of an interrogative pronoun. Whenever there is an interrogative pronoun, right, means the sentence begins with an interrogative pronoun, we usually use preposition at the end of the sentence, for example. And what are the interrogative pronouns? Interrogative pronouns are what, whom, when, where, right? So for example, what are you looking for? So here, what is the interrogative pronoun, and the preposition for is used at the end of the sentence. Now let me give you one more example. What is that you are thinking about? So about is used at the end of the sentence. Who you are going to play with, right? So in this sentence, who are you going to play with? In this sentence, with is the preposition which is used at the end of the sentence, right? To whom are you going to give this? To whom are you going to give this? Or whom are you going to give this to, right? Either we can use preposition to in the beginning or at the end, right? Now here we have case number 2. In case of a relative pronoun, a relative pronoun is a word which is used in place of a noun, and it shows relation, and it stands for the noun which is called its antecedent. For example, I'm not going to explain to you the relative pronoun here. I have just superficially told you about relative pronouns. So relative pronouns are who, whom, which, that, and whose. There are 5 relative pronouns. I have written only 3 here. So let's read this sentence to understand this precisely. This is the boy who I was talking about. This talking has been repeated here by mistake. Let me just erase it. Now this is the boy who I was talking about. So who is a pronoun which is used in place of the word boy, right? This boy is called its antecedent. So such a pronoun which follows its noun which is called its antecedent, this pronoun is called a relative pronoun, right? So here whenever there is a relative pronoun in the sentence, right? So after relative pronoun, the when preposition is used, this preposition is actually placed at the end of the sentence, right? For example, we have placed this about at the end. Now let me give you one more example for this. For example, this is the pen that I was looking for, or this is the pen that I wanted to tell you about, right? So here about and about is the preposition which is used at the end of the sentence, right? And this is another example of relative pronoun, right? Now let us move on to question number case number 3, condition number 3. In condition number 3, we come to know that in case of an infinitive, what is an infinitive? An infinitive is to plus first form of the verb is called an infinitive. So whenever there is an infinitive and preposition is to be used after the infinitive, this preposition is actually used at the end of the sentence. For example, this is a beautiful house to live in. So students, it is now time to move on to the uses of prepositions. So let's begin. So students, I have written 2 prepositions on the board. First one is at, second one is on. So now let us first of all discuss where at is used. So at is used when there are 2 objects and both objects are next to each other, right? For example, the train is arriving at the platform. Now read this example. The train is arriving at the platform. If in place of at, if I use on, can you believe what is the situation now? The situation becomes quite funny. You simply can imagine, you simply can figure out that if train comes on platform, means the train loses the tracks, leaves the tracks, and comes onto the platform, a place where passengers stand, right? They await the train, right? So we cannot say on the platform, we'll say at the platform, because train and platform both are next to each other. They are in level with each other, right? They are not on one another, right? So at is used in a condition when there are 2 objects and both are in level with each other, not one on the other, right? So this is the first scenario, and I can give you some more example for this. For example, my brother is sitting on the computer. If you say my brother is sitting on the computer, that becomes quite funny. This statement sounds very funny. So what you should speak in order to avoid this statement being very funny, you should speak what? You should speak my brother is sitting at the computer. So now let us move on to the other uses of at. Before time, at is used before time. What kind of time? The time which is usually given by the clock or the watch. For example, I will see my brother at 5:30 or at 7 o'clock, right? So at is used. Then there is for pointed or small places. For example, I live in Faridabad at Ballabgarh, right? I live at Ballabgarh in Faridabad. At Ballabgarh, I had used at before the place Ballabgarh because Ballabgarh is a small place in comparison to Faridabad, right? Or it is also a pointed place, right? So for pointed or small places we use at, and for price per quantity. If you want to tell somebody that you have bought something at this price, so you just need to say, you just need to use at. For example, the milk is selling at 65 rupees per kilogram here, right? So similarly, sugar is selling at 35 rupees per kg per kilo, right? So in this kind of situation we use what? At. Then there is before few words. So there are certain words which always follow preposition at. For example, smile at. Whom are you smiling at? Laugh at. You should not laugh at your friends, right? Then there is shout at. Why did you shout at me? Then there is look at. Look at that beautiful picture, right? So with few words, with few verbs, we use what? Preposition at. Now let us move on to the second preposition, which is on. So now let us just take first of all such kind of use of on. So here on is used when there are 2 objects and one object is on the other. Make sure the object which is on which is on the top should touch the object which is placed below, right? So in this scenario we use what? On. For example, the book is on the table. When we say the book is on the table, this is the table and this is the book, and book touches the table, right? So on is used before the names of days, like on Sunday, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. The second use of on is before full date. So students, what is a full date? A full date is like India got freedom on 15th of August 1947. So 15th of August 1947 is a full date. Then there is the last point before few verbs like rely on or depend on. We learned in the use of at, that at is used before few verbs like smile at, laugh at, shout at, look at. Similarly, on is used before few particular verbs like rely on. I cannot rely upon or on your help. Right? Then there is depend on. We should not depend on others, right? So these are the two examples of these uses of on, right? So this time I have written a few prepositions in pairs, right? In pairs of 2 or 3. So preposition number 3, in this section 3 we have 2 prepositions, over and upon, and we'll try to understand the differences between these pairs, right? So first of all, over, upon, both are used when one thing is located directly on the other, right? The similar situation we studied in the use of at and on, but in the use of at, the two things are not on each other, but they are in level to each other, right? And in the situation of on, one thing is exactly on the other, and it touches, both touch each other, right? But here, when one thing is exactly on the other, but they do not touch each other, this is called what? Over. For example, there is a bridge on the river. Is it right? There is a bridge on the river or over the river? There is a bridge over the river, because the river doesn't touch, right, the bridge. So this is called over. There is an aeroplane which is flying on the building or over the building. It should be over the building, right? Because aeroplane doesn't touch the building. Then there is upon. When there is an object and there is other object, this object just comes in motion, flying, and crosses this object, means it just scales this object. When one object scales the other like this without touching it, and it is absolutely in motion, especially in air, right? So this is called the use of upon, right? For example, the cat jumped upon the table, right? And the ball went over the fence upon the boundary line, right? So these are the two examples of this is the example of upon, and this is the example of over, right? Over is also used when some amount or quantity exceeds. For example, this water is over 2 liters, right? And this person is over 40 years of age. So this means something exceeding, right? Let us move on to the use of in. In is used when one thing is already placed within the an area which is a closet, means which is a closed area, right? For example, there is a book in the shelf, right? Or there are 4 students in this room. So room and shelf both are the closed spaces, right? And within these spaces there are the objects placed, right? So this is called an example of in. So there is one more example of in apart from this. The in is used before the names of the months. For example, in January, in February, in April, in May, right? And then there is a use of into. Into is used when one thing enters the other, but this thing is in motion. In motion. This thing is already stationary. It has no movement. It is already placed within a closet. But this, in this condition, when one object enters the other place, right? When one object enters a place, but it is in motion, this is called into. What? Into. For example, he came into my room. We cannot say he came in my room, right? He came into my room because the person was in motion, right? An apple fell from the tree and it dropped into the water. Dropped into here means because the apple was in motion, right? So these are the two examples of uh, this is the example of into and in. Now let us move on to we discuss the use of with, without, and by. So with is used to show company, as well as it acts as an agent. Sorry, instrument. It acts as an instrument. Example: I am cutting an apple with a knife. I am cutting an apple with a knife, right? So in this sentence, with a knife, what is the instrument with which we are cutting the knife? This shows that the instrument is a knife. So with acts as an instrument, right? And it also shows company. For example, I am playing with you. So in whose company I'm playing? In your company, with you. Right now we have without. Without is exactly the opposite of with. For example, how can I cut an apple without a knife? So unless I have a knife, I cannot cut an apple. So I cannot live without water. Means it shows divide of something, right? When there is a divide of something, something cannot be done. Then there is the use of by. By is used as an agent. For example, an apple was cut by me with a knife. Let me just write this. An apple was cut by me with a knife, which shows what? Instrument, and by shows what? Agent. So who is the agent? Who is the doer? It is me, right? So by shows what? Agent. By is sometimes used as per quantity. For example, milk is selling by the kilo, right? So this is another use of by. Now let us move on to the uses of to, from, and for. So to, let me just clear the board first. Here, to is used first of all for destination. For example, I'm going to Delhi, and I'm going to my uncle's, right? And they are just moving to the gym, right? So all these are the examples, because these examples are showing what a particular place, which is a destination. Then to is also used to show what? Direction. For example, when you reach that crossing, you just need to take a turn to left. To where? To left, right? So this shows direction, and it is used before indirect object. For example, I have brought this pen for you, and they will give this money to me. Now let us just take these two examples. For example, so I have brought this pen for you. Here this you is indirect object and this pen is direct object, right? So the things are called direct objects, whereas the pronouns are called the indirect object. So when always before indirect objects we use what? To or for. In this example we have used for, in this example we have used to. If we want, we can also omit the use of for and to in these sentences. How? When indirect object is used before the direct object, we should not use for or to. For example, I have brought you this pen. This is also correct. If I say I have brought you this pen, this is correct. But if I use direct object first and then comes the indirect object, so before indirect object we should use either to or for according to the sense, right? Similarly, they will give this money to me. I can also say they will give me this money. The sentence is correct. And here there is an omission of to or for, right? So this is called the use of to or for. Now from is used for what? When something leaves a place and we just want to put an emphasis on leaving that particular place, we use what? From. For example, I am coming from my home and going to my school, right? So here my destination is a school and the leaving place is home, right? So when we want to show the leaving place, right, we use what? From. So this to and from combination is sometimes used when we say he will study these things from Monday to Tuesday, right? From Monday to Wednesday. So this is also called a use of from or to, right? From evening to night, from 6 p.m. to 12, right? So this is also called from head to toe, right? From up to down. Now let us discuss the use of and off. So off is used to show what? First of all, off is used to show possession or relation. For example, members of parliament are friend of mine. So these are the examples of possession or relation. Then the second use of is it shows what? Location. How? In the middle of the road, right? Then it shows what? It also shows quantity. How? A cup of tea, right? And 2 liters of water. So this shows what? Quantity. So off is used in these 3 cases. Then there is off. O-double-F, off. What is the difference between both of them? It shows relation and shows separation. What? Separation. How? Let me write a sentence. I have cut my finger. Then the other example is I have cut my finger off, right? What is the difference between these 2 sentences? You just need to understand the difference. And how can we understand the difference? It's quite easy. I have cut my finger. It simply means I have just given a cut, means I have just given a slit to my finger. It is still connected to my finger, right? It is still connected to my hand. The finger is still connected to my hand. But if I say I have cut my finger off, that simply means I have just made a slit and this part of the finger has fallen down, right? So this shows what? Separation. There was a lady and she was having a stroll on the terrace and all of a sudden she jumped off the terrace, right? Jumped off means she separated herself from the terrace, right? So these are the 2 differences of off and off. Off is used for separation. Now we have the use of before and after, right? So before is used prior to a time, right? For example, I'll be there before 10 o'clock, right? Before is also used to show location, right? For example, I am standing before you. Before you means in front of you. Then there is a use of after. For it means after a particular time. For example, this is exactly the opposite of before. It shows what? Time. So these are the prepositions of time. So I'll come to you before Monday and I'll come to you after Monday. Then there is beside and besides. There is a slight difference between both of them. The spellings are almost the same, but there is a difference of s. This s is added to this beside. So beside means to the side, right? By the side of something. For example, I am teaching you and beside me there is my friend, means next to me there is my friend, or beside me there is a table, means next to me there is a table. Then there is the use of besides. Besides means in addition to something. For example, besides this, besides this usage of prepositions, I will give you an exercise which will help you understand them better, right? So besides here means in addition to. Beside means by the side, right? Then there is behind. Behind shows location. Like before shows location. Before means in front of, and behind means at the back of, right? And both are used before or after. Both are used either in front of or at the back of the stationary things, means the things which are stationed, not in motion. For example, there is a temple behind my house, right? When something is in motion and we want to show the location at the back of something, we use what? We use after. So after and before both are used for time as well as they are used for location, right? Before shows the front location, and after shows the back location. But after and after shows the location when the thing is in motion. For example, the cat is running after a thief. Oh, sorry, the cat is running after a rat, right? So cat is running after a rat means the cat is in motion. Is even the rat is in motion, right? So behind means before, at the back of some stationed thing, right? Some stationary thing. So we have now considered, taken in consideration the uses of these prepositions. Now we move on to the use of between and among. So between and among means in the middle of, right? So here between means between here means it is considered when there are two persons. When we talk about two persons, we use between. For example, this cake will be distributed between two brothers, right? Between two brothers, right? Between is also used for more than two persons when the number is definite. For example, there are five sons of a father, and the father wants to say that this property will be distributed between my five sons. So since the number is definite, exact number, so we can also use between for more than two persons or things, right? Only in which condition? When the persons or things are definite, right? Otherwise we use what? Among, for indefinite number. For example, these copies will be distributed among the people of this locality, right? So this is an example of among, means it is used before with an indefinite number, right? Now, or the persons or things which are more than two. So here we have the use of below and above. Below is used for the direction or the location which is up, which is down, and above is used for the location which is up, but it shows a very small distance. For example, answer the questions given below means short distance. Similarly, read the stanza given above, right? Very short distance. Then there is across and along. Across and along both show the location, and across is used when across is used means this is an area and we are talking about each and every aspect, means moving across everything. So we use across, right? Whereas along means this is an area and the thing is just moving along the line, means moving by the line means along, and moving all throughout something means across, right? So for example, English is spoken across the world. Across the world means it is spoken by each and it is spoken by a majority of people, right? And it is not spoken by the territorial people only. So we have used what? Across. But if we say the soldiers are stationed along the border, right? Not across the country, along the borders only. So here along shows the distance which moves, distance that a person covers by the side of a line or a border, right? So this is called along. Now we have the use of round and around. Round refers to a movement which is made in a definite direction. For example, the earth moves around the sun. If we say around the sun, this is absolutely wrong, because earth never makes the reverse revolutions, right? So round means definite movement, right? Then around, for example, the flies are swarming around a piece of jaggery, right? Now we have the last uses, that is the use of till or until. So till and until both are used up to a time. Till is used up to a time. For example, I will finish this work till Monday, means up to Monday. But until refers to a time, refers to before a time, as well as it refers to up to a time, but the activity continued throughout that period. For example, we accepted applications until 7 o'clock or until 7 p.m. means the activity of accepting applications was going on until 7 p.m. So until shows before time or up to a time, but the activity was continuously going on. But in the case of till, the activity is not shown going on, right? So students, with this we have taken a very wide uses of prepositions, and thus preposition, the topic of preposition has come to an end now, right? So what I think is that I should take an exercise, a very small exercise, so that we can understand how to solve the problems based on prepositions. So let's solve an exercise. I have written question number 1 on board. So the following passage has not been edited. There is an error in each line. Find the error and write the correct and incorrect word in the given space. So this is for correct and this is for incorrect. So let us now read the paragraph. Let us now read this passage. So make sure that we are now just taking into consideration the topic of preposition. So we need to find the preposition which is used incorrectly, right? And we just need to spot the error, and then we need to replace the error some word with a correct word. So the Gita was narrated at 5,000 years from now. First of all, I want you to solve this question, right? So here, first of all, you need to spot the preposition in the first, in A, question number A, there is at, this as a preposition, right? So the Gita was narrated at 5,000 years from now. So do you think this use of at is correct here? No, we should use what? We should use, at is incorrect, we should use what? About. What? About. So the Gita was narrated about 5,000 years from now. This is an estimation made, right? So being delivered with Lord Krishna. With Lord Krishna? No, by Lord Krishna. In place of with, there should be by. Agent. Who is the agent? Lord Krishna himself, right? So being delivered by Lord Krishna himself, it is widely heard and read among the present times. Among the present times or in the present times. In place of among, there should be what? In the present times. Its teachings reach out. Its teachings reach out from people with disciplic succession. Reach out from people or to people? To people. In place of from, there should be what? To, because it is showing what? Direction, right? So its teachings reach out to people with disciplic succession and benefit all. With disciplic succession or through disciplic succession. So in place of with, there should be what? There should be through. So through disciplic succession, not with disciplic succession. Through disciplic succession, right? So students, here we have considered this editing exercise. I hope that I have tried my level best to help you understand this concept of preposition. I suggest you to go through the notes based on preposition. You need to learn the rules, right? Explained here, as well as which are present somewhere in the books, right? And you just need to do what? You need to put yourself into practice a lot, because practice makes a man perfect. The more you practice, the more you learn, right? So students, with this I come to an end with this lecture, and very soon I'll be back with a new chapter for you. So till then, be happy, keep smiling. Thank you.